Don't mind us, gals. We're just on a Forest Friday road trip, which is gonna go more than a few days. But hiya! My road trip kitty and my road trip puppy. Booyah!
Instead of sitting home feeling sad, anxious, or stuck, let's go camping. I decided to become a tourist in my own state, choosing adventure, curiosity, and nature as medicine. We'll visit Lassen National Volcanic Peak and travel up to Mount Shasta. This is my first road trip camping with the cat and continuing my journey out of survival mode to thriving. Welcome to my channel, This Way to Bliss, where I hike and explore and car camp in my hybrid SUV and heal through nature, one hop, skip, and step at a time. Hi, I'm Candace Shea Frazier. This is my story of growing through grief instead of giving up, resetting my nervous system, and breaking my addiction to chaos and confusion. Out here, I found the strength to keep going and the first sparks of balance, bliss, freedom, and fun after the fallout of divorce, loss, betrayal, and abandonment. I have so many adventures to share, so make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends. It really helps us out. On last episode, waterfalls and wombats welcoming Mazzy from Tahoe trails to new tales. Sometimes you just have to get away, and that's what this video captured. It was a healing road trip loop through Truckee, Lake Tahoe, Emerald Bay, Eagle Falls, to Hope Valley and Carson Pass, where nature became my refuge, a place to process grief, restore balance, and reconnect with joy, and prepare for little Miss Mazzy to show up. The episode is linked above, but now we are getting ready to take her on her first camping trip.
Like your playpen, Mazzy?
I secured some items for her to have to play with, but also to have her be secure and safe. And I got some plywood to upgrade my sleeping situation and some cushions to help make it more comfy. And it worked because, ta-da! And we are off. I am so excited. I have never taken a cat camping, so this is going to be a first.
We are loaded up and ready to go. She already knows what to do. Following suit with Mama. So, woohoo!
If you can remember back to June of 2022, there was a lot of chaos and confusion going on. So instead of sitting at home feeling sad, anxious, or stuck, I decided to become a tourist in my own state and set off choosing adventure, curiosity, and nature as medicine. First stop for gas, got a synchronicity of 333, and then we stopped at a rest stop because I was getting pretty tired. So we are all set up. This one's playing.
That would see. Oh, this one's purring too.
Happy kitty! Mazzy isn't fazed at all by this road trip. She is truly my bestie adventure cat. And so we get ready for night-night because all van life needs a fan. And a kitten.
Good morning, sunshine.
So it's like 5 a.m. and someone's like, Mama, it's time to get up. First night camping was a success. She had a blast. While Mazzy and ZZ napped, I got ready and did my self-care and then hit the road and headed up to this coffee place called The Bean in Cottonwood off I-5.
So a little bit of avocado toast with some pistachios and lemon juice for a morning fuel. Hungry. What we have here is a lab cat on a road trip. Forest Friday! Can you guess which forest I'm at?
The energy here is ineffable. I can't even put it into words. It is definitely something you'll have to visit for yourself because, ta-da! We are at Lassen Volcanic National Park.
Let's go explore, shall we? And check this out. That's not a sign. Happy Forest Friday! Mazzy's first road trip, and she's doing amazing. She is an incredible kitty. Happy Forest Friday! Time to go explore the forest.
The plan was not just a day trip, but to go from one volcano to another with no rush and no rigid plan. Just space to breathe, regulate, and remember what it feels like to live in an adventure mindset instead of a fear mindset. And also to reclaim parts and to make new memories in a place where I'd been traumatized before.
Don't mind us, gals. We're just on a Forest Friday road trip, which is gonna go more than a few days. But hiya! My road trip kitty and my road trip puppy. Booyah!
Sorry, I had to mute it, but as you can see, traveling with a kitten for the first time, it's a learning curve. There was excitement, curiosity, and sometimes a little nervous system activation, but there was also so much joy, laughter, and presence. Mazzy brought playfulness back into my life in a way that I didn't even realize that I needed. And in hindsight, she was another being for me to nurture and pour love into and reflect that back to me. And I began to fall even more deeply in love with myself and my life on this journey. And driving through Lassen felt like moving through Earth's living breath. From steaming vents to boiling mud pots, there were constant reminders that this planet is alive and always transforming, kind of like us. And watching that power helped me to trust change again, even when it feels unpredictable and uncertain. So if you're on your hero or heroine's journey like I am, just trust that you're not alone. And if you keep reminding yourself to just take a breath, and the clarity will come and the path will reveal itself, then you can stop getting caught up in the emotional overthinking loops that are there to keep you safe in some senses, but also to keep you in a familiar loop. And there's Massa.
And a kitty that wants out. Yeah. Dun dun dun. Lassen Volcanic National Park, whatever you want to call it. But there she is. I have hiked to that peak way long time ago. But yeah, I hiked it. But that's the side that blew up. Here's some fire damage from last year. That creek.
It's so pretty here, and if I can ever find my disc that has all of my pictures from when I was here in the early 2000s, I'll share them with you. I went fishing on this creek and caught a really big trout, and I have pictures of me hiking to the top of the peak as well. I just can't find them. And I have a hard drive computer, but I can't access it because somebody ruined my computer, if you know what I mean. Because they were on sites they shouldn't have been on. And yeah, now I can't access anything from that hard drive. Fun times. But anyway, back to the journey. So what we're seeing here is some of the damage from the fire that raged through this area.
The antics of the back room. It's playtime back there.
the mirror of the outside world of my inside world, where destruction and growth simultaneously existed in the same breath. Same as how we alchemize fear with the power of love. Now, I didn't do this hike, but I did snap some pictures and videos of it to show you. And I was to say, if you do plan on visiting Lassen Volcanic National Park, do so in the later summer months, because it is June and it is still covered in snow right here, right now. And it's the end of June, but still. When I hiked, it was late summer, but a couple years later I went back again and there was still snow in August. So yeah. It's high elevation and they get a lot of snow, but definitely worth visiting.
This is my happy face, and I'm about to cry because filling my cup with the things that make me happy. Look at this. Go live your life. Do what fills you up. Live each day to the fullest, because tomorrow may never come. What is that, Maz? Snow! Is it wet? Yeah, it's wet. Just a little walk in the Lassen National Park, the Lassen National Volcanic Park.
When I first started this journey, I couldn't understand why it was nature made me so happy and why I found myself smiling so big. But I understand now that it's a Norwegian way of living. It's called free air life, a philosophy of living that emphasizes being outdoors as a way of feeling alive, regulated, connected, and whole. And it's not about hiking for achievement. It's not about conquering nature, but being in it and belonging with it. I found that embodying the same as nature, being present in the now, being in the free flow of the moment, and the sights and the sounds and the smells regulated my nervous system back to a state of calm, presence, rest, digest, in a way that nothing else had prior. And it makes sense now, because it truly is medicine. And that's why I will continually share that message, because it saved my life. It allowed me to come home to myself and find who I truly am underneath all of the chaos and confusion of living in a world where we are conditioned to abandon ourselves and to people please and to look for meaning in things outside of ourselves versus just surrendering to what is present right now. Like, seriously, have you hugged a tree today? As I stood here and hugged this tree in gratitude for holding me when I was fragmented, helping me to quiet my mind, regulate my nervous system, and remind my body how to breathe. Because the thing is, when everything else in life felt unsafe, rushed, or overwhelming, the trees never asked me to be anything other than human. Being in nature helped my mind to soften, helped my body to remember safety, and allowed my soul to find its rhythm again. This is my home. I had done the talk therapy, I had done the wellness stuff, but nature that was where I got my breath back and my body, my belonging. And it wasn't just a gateway, it was a remembering and a coming home to myself. Traversing the trail showed me the symbolism between the depths of despair and the darkness and the chaos and confusion of uncertainty and everything that came with that, to learning how to climb the mountain by becoming self-sourced, self-loving, and sovereign to overcome that cycle of suffering and chasing love, safety, belonging.
Lay down, Zizi. Lay down.
I restored the peace and fixed the beds, and they both went back to sleep, and I continued on the adventure. Here's those mud pots I was telling you about.
Stinks like rotten eggs.
The next stop was devastated wilderness on the way to my campsite. So let's check it out, shall we?
This rock all used to be on the side of that mountain, and then it blew up and devastated all of this area. It's a devastating area. See, even in the most devastated of things, you can transmute and still create beauty.
Let's go to places we've never been to. Everything new and old. Head for the new horizon. That's where we're meant to go. Pull back the velvet curtain. Walk down the open road. One thing I know.
Hey, I have this brand new cool idea that I'm using for a life hack. It's called Be a Tourist in Your Life. Wake up every day, and as if you were a tourist in your life, what would you do with the opportunities you had in front of you? Would you do this? Or would you sit at home and focus on all the things that aren't? Go have fun. Be love. Be now. Live well. Live life.
Colored roads where we align at the crossroads of time. Listen to the voice of sign where the journey goes.
We made it to the campground and got one of the last spots, and how ironic that it's number 50 because it was my 50th birthday year. Got my netting up for the sunroof, took some pictures of the spot before I started to set everything up, and then, of course, think outside, no box required. Got the kitty all set up in her playpen to watch me while I got things set up, and then it's time for play.
Let's go to places we've never been to. Everything new and old. Head for the new horizon. That's where we're meant to go. Pull back the velvet curtain. Walk down the open road. One thing I know for certain. That's where the journey goes. That's where the journey goes.
Mazzy. Mazzy.
Before I ate, I wanted to go off on another little adventure and check out the Manzanita Lake that is at this campground. So here we are. It's so pretty. Really cold, though. The lake does not disappoint for photography though, because look at that. And I took some pictures of the experience to capture the memories for myself, and I'm glad I did, so I can bring you this story of triumph over trauma. And now it is time to wind down and get ready for sleep. She's already crashed out. She's living her best life. So cute how she's all covered with the blankie. Oh my gosh, I just love her so much. I know it may seem corny to some, but there's just something blissful about peeking out the window and seeing I'm in nature in the morning when I go camping. I don't know why. Maybe someone can explain to me in the comments what's going on, but I'm so excited right now. Listen to this though. This motorboat. Like I said, she makes me smile and brings me so much joy. She's such a great cuddle buddy. Reminds me so much of my Shiva. But it's time to get up and get the day going. As I packed all of my gear up, I was in a pure state of bliss and gratitude and joy because I'm a happy camper. Thank you, Mother Nature.
Lassen Peak. Some kind of volcano. This is the fire damage. Came close to that town, and there's another volcano. Lassen Peak. Mount Shasta or Mount Hood, not sure. Gonna find out. Fire damage. Volcano. 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 Volcano.
Again, the parallels, so much beauty and destruction. Driving through these areas shaped by wildfires was very sobering. So much loss, and yet, right beside that devastation, new growth was already emerging. Life doesn't wait for perfect conditions to begin again, and neither do we. It's a metamorphosis that we go through on this journey of being a soul in a human body. And nature pretty much has shown me the parallels of that and us. There's beauty everywhere. And like the butterfly, it will require a metamorphosis of the mind. Time to shift from being discouraged and gaslighted to determined and delighted. Which is like the biggest reason why I love road trips and hanging out in nature, exploring. But if you're a highly sensitive person like me living with chronic illnesses, then it's going to be a bit of a challenge because you're going to find yourself overstimulated and dysregulated along the way. And that is where you must practice the skill of taking a moment to rest, stop, and dance it out. And that's what I was doing here. I had planned to go a little bit further, and so in my exploration, I was realizing there was not another place that I could camp. And so I started to get anxious. And instead of spinning out, I decided to dance it out. And this is what you're seeing. Because what I have learned through somatic experiencing and my own journey as being a certified health coach is our body keeps the score and it holds that energy. So dancing is a great way to shift that experience of being in a state of contraction and move into expansion because you're in the now. And that little move there, that is really shaking off that lower stuckness in the root and the sacral energy centers so that I could get back into my solar, which is my personal power, and be able to make decisions. Hence the twisting, the moving. Very powerful. Don't judge. Just try it out. See how it works for you. Maybe it already does work for you. You're just laughing at me. Either way, I hope you're entertained. What is that on the gladiator? Are you not entertained? So the next time your system hits overload, instead of pushing through, pause, shake it out, dance it out, get regulated. And then from a grounded place, we continue on. which we are about to head towards Mount Shasta area. And the drive going there was quite spectacular, if I do say so myself. I had to stop and capture. And it's as if I was being shown that the journey holds peaks and valleys, but just keep going because you'll find the way. Now, while the view here is quite spectacular, what you don't see is behind the scenes in my mind is the remnants of echoes of past traumas that I had experienced in this area back in the early 2000s. And there was this moment of reclamation and restoration happening at the same time while on this beautiful drive. So I just wanted to normalize for you, if you find yourself in that contrast, just keep flowing with it and remember that the body is keeping score, but it's also the mind trying to make sense of something it couldn't at the time. And so perhaps you're just in a reclamation phase of that metamorphosis. So now we're on Highway 5 heading north, and you can see Mount Shasta off in the distance off to the right here. So pretty.
You have arrived at your destination. The route guidance is now finished.
Like I said, I had no rigid plan. I was just taking myself on an adventure and, introducing Mazzy to the adventure hybrid van life experience that I had been creating with my Chihuahua ZZ. I was only driving through to capture some views because I'm now at the Weed rest stop capturing this helicopter taking off. The plan is to go up towards Oregon, so that's where we're going to be heading next. But I had to stop and take a break, and yeah, you can see Mount Shasta off in the background. So if you're on I-5, the Weed rest stop offers some really awesome views. I have other videos of some times that I've stopped here and captured some cool views. I also forgot to mention that there is a rest stop in Shingleton outside of Lassen Peak. I made my way over to Ray's Food Place and grabbed a tri-tip and some snacks. Driving this route on the north side of the mountain, the views were unreal. This was seeing Mount Shasta in a whole different perspective, and seeing that there was more than just one mountain, that there was what they called the Little Shastina, if I remember correctly. So see what I mean? Looks completely different from this angle, but also check it out. If you can see in the right side, there's some type of activity. I'm not sure what it was, but that is some interesting footage of what was either thermal activity or seismic movement. But either way, whether it was geological, energetic, it felt like a reminder that change is always happening, even when we can't name it. Sometimes, even if we don't see it on the surface, we know there's things bubbling underneath. I mean, take this volcano, for instance. And I still want to go back and explore this side of the mountain a little bit more. And I also want to come back and continue further up into Oregon, because it turned out that the rest stop I was going to go to was closed over here. So I turned around and went back down to Lakehead and found a campsite for the night. Camping with a kitten, sleeping at rest stops, there were real safety considerations, but instead of living in fear, I practiced awareness, preparation, and self-trust. The next morning, I got up and explored an area by the campground, and you're going to see just how drastic the drought had been, because this lake was a lot lower than it should be. Although I think now in 2026, the levels have risen, maybe. I don't know. I haven't been up there for a while.
This is Lakehead, Shasta Lake. See the new fishies. These things are huge. Hawk hunting. Needless to say, the lake is a little empty because I'm standing where there should be water.
You see, this volcano road trip wasn't just about travel. It was about choosing life again. Curiosity, courage, and companionship.
Did you miss me? I went on a walk and came back, and this is what I came back to. Kisses! Is it playtime? You up from your nap? Yeah? Oh, yeah? You wanna go get Sissy? Go get Sissy. And there she goes.
Volcano road trip success. We are happy campers and we are headed back home where Mazzy and I hang out together and work on manuscripts and things to bring to you. And as you can see, Mazzy needs a friend to play with because my Chihuahua is not having it. This poor baby, she's always on guard because she's just waiting for Mazzy to reach out and swat at her. And she's not having it because at this point, ZZ is aging and she's got the onset of doggy dementia. And she's becoming blind and deaf. And I know I don't have much time left with her. And Mazzy needed a home.
She just doesn't stop, does she? Poor baby.
I'm doing my best to meet everyone's needs.
Giving me kisses isn't going to make it better. But I love it. She's trying to get to my sandwich. See? You can't have Mama's sandwich. That's my sandwich. She's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Hi once. Who's that kitty?
Stay tuned. On the next episode, there's more adventures with Mazzy. We're going to go on some hikes. I even take her to the lake for an adventure for the day. And coming up in the next episode, we're going to have to add another furry friend because Mazzy needs some company. So we'll have even more tales and trails. If you enjoyed this video and want more, please make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so you can traverse the next trail with me. Stay self-sourced, stay self-loving, stay sovereign. And remember, your heart is where the home is.